I'm Johnny Lieberman, and you're watching LNP. What does LNP stand for?
Late Night Playset.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I've been on there. Yeah, good show. You should like and subscribe. Like and subscribe.
You trim your beard. You look great. And he did a shave. Everybody looks great. What's up, you guys? Kurt must be here. This is amazing. It's so beautiful. Hi, what's up, dude? What's up, Gus? Tommy? Hey, how are you? It's good to see you guys. Good morning.
So good.
It is so good. It is so good. And welcome back, everybody else. I'll be on a microphone and we'll be able to hear each other. Here, I'll turn the bubble off first thing. I don't know about you, but the first thing I could hear is you hear the foam of all the... It sounds like snow in here, you know? Heavy snow. The kind you can hear. Everyone's like, who can hear snow? If you grew up in the East Coast with all different types of snow, there's some you can hear.
You can hear some of it.
So it looks like snow. Oh, my goodness. Welcome back, everybody. Hello, my name is Jay Ryan. This lady to my right is Nicole Ryan. We are the Ryans. This is Late Night Playset, broadcasting love and good vibes every Tuesday and Thursday right here live at 5 from the Late Night Playset. What is the Late Night Playset? It's a room in our house. It's a room in our condo, but it happens to house the original David Letterman set, so as well as our little show here. We started a little show before we had the little David Letterman set. It was just us at the dining room table. It was called Life with the Ryans. Remember that one?
I do. It was a table on the road. That's all I remember.
Oh, yes, I didn't see it. Here, one more time. Yep. Did you stop talking? The shiny thing?
I never know when I'm supposed to, because I'll talk forever, just rambling.
Man, we're a good team. Well, welcome back to everybody else. The real Batmobile is here. Rick Purcell. 101 Cars and Coffee. Hey, guys. SLS Los Angeles is here. Hello, SLS Los Angeles. Very cool. Driftworthy's here. St. Clair Insurance. Hello, St. Clair Insurance. Dom's Garage is here. Dom's Garage, the car is still clean. We made sure that it stayed quarantined in the garage yesterday to avoid all of the rain. so it looks just as good as it did the other day. Let's see. Leo's here. Leo B777. I think that's a different Leo. Otherwise, he would have said, hey, it's Leo. That's what that Leo says every time. C. George is here. What's up, Chester? Great to see you. Carissable. Hello, Carissable. Carissable, seeing you on the show the other day reminded me, but seeing you now reminds me that I have to check in with our friend Pinstripe Chris, who I saw so briefly the other day, and I thought I would see again. There we go. To see where our Porsche project is, our Lufty Porsche project. Actually, at this point, I guess it's a custom Pinstripe Chris project. Anyway, welcome back. The Ryan's Late Night Playset. We're here talking to you all evening long. Whatever you want to talk about, it is Tradecraft Tuesday. We are going to get the lady over here medicated. She has multiple sclerosis. If this is your first time joining us, if you are part of the new Spotify audience, thank you for joining us. That is very exciting for us. It is very exciting for us to be here on Spotify.
Thank you.
There is some Ghost Train Haze, GTH, Ghost Train Haze,
I like
Mood
that
is
one.
Adventure. That's a full sativa, so that's up your alley. That's what you like, seems to be. But she has multiple sclerosis, so that's why she medicates on the show. That's why we have a medicine supporter. I don't know if they're a sponsor or not. I don't know what you would call them, but they've been extremely supportive of us throughout, and we're damn glad to have them. But that's what we're doing and why that's happening. That's what Tradecraft Tuesday is all about.
I love those guys.
I love those guys too. Jeff, Tommy. There's a lot of people who work over there. That is not a small company. James, by the way, is another one. But not a small company. And they're only getting bigger. They're only getting bigger because they've got so many brands. I mean, it doesn't matter. Well, I'm trying to get those guys to come on the show and talk about exactly what it is that they. I mean, it's a very large company, and it's all the different vertical. I think they say in business, they offer all the different stages from production to retail.
That's radical.
You're radical. And then the rest is we are talking to everybody else. Happy Tuesday, folks, says Jeff St. Clair. Calling in from Colorado, I'm guessing, unless you're on the road somewhere. You often are on the road somewhere. Pete McNulty's here. Hi, Pete McNulty. Jerry, Mr. Nautis. Hello, Jerry. Triple caution. Triple. 101. I must be very behind if we're still on bubbles. Oh, boy. What a thing you have done, guys. Look at all the joy and friendships you have created through GVBC. Oh, wow. You are so kind. Good to see you, Randy Carlson. Would still love to have you back here. I know it's a haul to get you up to L.A., but if you're ever in L.A. for something else during the day, this is 5 p.m. It's like this is a great way to kill an hour or so while you're waiting for traffic to die down. In fact, you hit this, then you hit Bob's Big Boy afterwards. I wish we could come with you. We've got post-show stuff to do, but I'm planning your whole evening. So come on up and be on the show.
I'd love to see that guy again.
Auto Kennel, hello. My brother from another mother. After our Sunday, I feel closer to you than ever. How's that? Mr. Nauta says, hello, everybody. Bug and Box, Dom's Garage, greetings. Hola, peeps. I'm just catching up, everybody. Howdy, 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 howdy. Yo, yo, what's up, you fabulous Ryans, you? Topless Targa, awesome. Mine got put in the garage, too. That's in reference to me saying that we kept the car clean. Hey, yes, bet it's going to be pretty epic. Carissable, do you have any ideas for what it might look like? I'm holding this up, even though it's nothing like it. It's just simply a car prop on the desk. I'm holding the time machine up, but do you have any idea what Chris might have done? If you remember, it was like a metallic green that would be very pretty on a classic Porsche, but it didn't really fit our motif, nor I don't know. Once the idea of getting Pinstripe Chris involved, everything became so much cooler, and then it just looked like a store-bought toy on the desk. Yep. So no matter what he does, even if he just painted the whole thing black, I'm like, cool, you did
That's
it. An
Chris
artist,
thing.
that's art, right? And I don't think that's what it's going to be. I think he's probably taking his time to create something cool. But what do you think it'll be, Carissable? Hank on camera 5 is here. Hank, you can see yourself right in... How do I do this? Right over there. There you are in the back behind the missus over there. Rox Montreal is here. Hello, hello. You have a beautiful Rox Motorsports build. Cinco Chip Beneford's here. Till Cars is here. My timeshare in Miami is available to you both. Oh, that's very kind of you. That's very kind of you, Till. I know it's a joke because he knows how much we love Miami. Sarcasm. It's nothing against the place. When we were talking to it sounds like we figured out what the heck it was when we were talking to Pops and Kalo from Kalo and Pops. It sounds like we were going to like the strippy places. Not strippy places, but like on the strip. We were going to all the wrong joints because we were there with fancy famous people where of course that's where you would go. You got to be seen, and if you're going to be paparazzi bombed, that's where you do it.
Yep.
There's nothing against the city of Miami or the state of Florida. My mother lives in Florida, at least. Yeah, my mother lives in Florida. Hopefully for a long time. Hello, Mr. Kramer. Let's see. Hank on camera 5. Howdy, St. Clair. Boy, you missed out on that rally. Tri-Town Cruisers here. Hello, hello. Enzo Mascaro. I know I didn't do that right. Enzo Mascaro. I think I might have done that right. How was Yellowcar after the cracked wheel incident? Oh, boy. Okay, so we can talk about that. That's one of the things on the list here, Yellowcar 2.0. Topless Targa, the best governor, too. All right, I'm not doing politics with you, that's for sure. But everyone has an opinion, and you're entitled to it. That's for sure. EWD9 joined IX. That Porsche girl. Hello, Laura. Hello, Laura. Hello, Laura. Yellowcar 2.0. Let's see. All right, so we're doing the whole Yellowcar 2.0 in the middle of the build. We finally get it back shy of the shifter and the plenum and the throttle body GT3 stuff, basically the GT3 stuff. And the alignment's perfect, and the four-corner balance is perfect. Everything's perfect, and we get to like the first couple miles of on the way to Breakfast Club, and we hit a rock pile, and whatever, did some damage. So we replaced the rim, we replaced the tire, we replaced the undercladding, all that aerodynamic stuff that goes underneath it that protects what's underneath it, by the way.
It did a great job.
Replaced all that, and then we are going in for an alignment. It's supposed to be today or tomorrow, so I'm hoping tomorrow to redo all of the fancy geometry stuff that was what made it feel so perfect, because it is far from perfect currently. It's obviously better than it was before it went into the shop, Yellowcar 1.0, but it just isn't there, and it isn't even close to there. Oh man, this is back to the Pinstripe Chris thing. Oh man, the possibilities are endless. I'm curious to see what the magic he's working, what magic he's worked though. What are you thinking? Do you have Yellowcar with his own twist? I thought about that, but I don't know. I'm hoping something kind of outlaw-y, I'm hoping something very beat up and rugged and rally looking. I don't know. I mean, he could surprise us and do like a Sharpie thing on it. You know what I mean? Like I don't think any of us saw that coming, but he is also known for that.
True.
I mean, like that. It's funny because in my mind that wouldn't have been my first choice, but now that I'm starting to think about it, I'm like, oh, I don't know, black and white. Like that would be cool. Whatever he wants to do is cool. In my mind, like I saw the potential of all the little white letters for the. I mean, all the little whatever. Put the white letters in because it's actually embossed or whatever. Do that stuff, and yeah, put like a patinaed meatball on it, make it yellow, of course, or another color. I don't know, whatever he wants to do. It'd be cool if he did another iteration of a 111 car, like a red car, where the color scheme was the same, but it was primarily red instead of yellow, or white instead of yellow, or blue instead of yellow. I don't know, whatever it is. I'm sure it's awesome. Oh, that Porsche girl says he's doing great stuff. Some stuff with the coffee monkey. Professionally, he's doing killer stuff. And the stuff with the coffee monkey that he could tell me about, because I know a lot of that's confidential, sounded awesome. This particular one was he was going to paint the car that's on our desk here, Laura, which was a gift from Carissable. And apparently it wasn't good enough. I'm realizing now because the moment it got here, I gave it to somebody else to make it different. So I feel like a shit now that I told the story that way. Sorry, Carissable. You know we love you. So Yellowcar 2.0. All right. It isn't great. We're having the alignment done hopefully tomorrow. On the cool side of things, though, on the way back from Breakfast Club on Friday, everything was successful on Friday, other than the cars, it's not there yet. On the way back down, we hit TLG. which was great. We spent a couple hours there, which was pretty awesome. Marco ended up putting in the GT3 shifter, which is great. I am so happy. Everything about the driveline and that experience is great, nice and tight now. So I'm thrilled about that. Once the car itself is tight and we add the power to the back, then we're going to be good and done. But the GT3 shifter's in, and then he also did, this was a cool thing for me, and I don't think it's responsible to recommend it to everybody to do, but I'll never not have it again. He did the clutch switch delete, which means you don't have to push the damn clutch in to turn the car on anymore, which isn't a big deal if you're just a stock car, but like we've got this racing clutch in now, and there everything's very precise. So the tolerances are much less. So the space between where the switch would be, the clutch was depressed enough that the switch would be clear so that you could electrically start the car, was like right on the hair of where you push the racing clutch too far and you get that little that spindle sound of like you're pushing the pressure plate too far. Whatever, it's no big deal. Now it's all resolved and effing perfect. So easy to drive. I'm thrilled. Once the drive itself is better, hopefully tomorrow, and we'll be able to report on that on Thursday, which is great, and then up to Breakfast Club on Friday. Hopefully it'll be great. And then it's just me getting the dyno, him putting the GT3 throttle body and plenum on, doing the dyno again for him in the numbers. But at that point, it's, I think, done. I mean, it sounds great. It looks great. Thank you, Dom. We also may be playing with the wheel spacers because the ride height needs to come up, in my opinion. And we might do that tomorrow, too. I don't know how much that gets done at the alignment plate. But I think the ride height does. So, whatever. So they're all things that we're discussing. All things we're doing.
I agree on that.
Yeah. Well, we can soften it up as well without raising it. But I personally, I like the look of it a little higher.
I'm with you on that.
And I would rather compensate for whatever the space is. I'd rather put a little spacer on there, like a 5 or 10 millimeter or whatever. And then that way you get sort of the best of both worlds. You get kind of a beefier look, but also the comfort and ride height that we like.
Cool.
I want to be able to drive over rocks. We always were able to straddle the damn rocks, and now, I mean, I don't think I would have been able to. That last one, obviously, but still, I don't want to worry about it. You know what I mean? We scrape into the driveway and stuff now. We didn't used to. I don't want that. I don't like it. No, sir, I don't like it. Topless Targa. It'll be great when it's set up. Hopefully tomorrow it'll get set up again. Hopefully. Yeah. How are you guys all doing? What's happening with everyone? You know, I feel like we've been spending a little. The Ryans have been doing a little hibernating, a little taking care of us lately, because we have needed to. But because of that, I feel like I haven't seen as many other people out and about. We've seen some new people we've never met in some places, but like a lot of our core people, I feel like we haven't checked in with a little bit. I'm trying to do a good thing. You know what I mean, right? Chi-Town Cruiser, good to hear. You're good to hear. Chicago Town Cruiser, you're on the air. Teresa, Porsche driver. Man, you're awesome. You've been sending me some just beautifully inspirational messages. Not like memes. I mean, like personal stuff. Very, very sweet.
It's really nice.
LOL. Yeah. So yeah, there's Yellowcar 2.0. We've got some viewer mail to do. I got to tell you some viewer mail. We got a couple cool things. One of which is going to go on the set for sure. Yeah, the green is perfect. I'm just looking at it right now.
Awesome.
Here, this one first. It's big and it's heavy. This one first. It's big and it's heavy. Oh shit! I don't think that's right. Oh no, it is. It's perfect. This was This was technically given to us by RP. Rick, as a gift to us, but it's Carl Casper's book, and Carl gave it to him and signed it. Whatever. Okay, so here we go.
That's so nice.
It's also huge. Could make another building out of this box. Skyline's about to be. Who wants to buy a building? Oh boy, this thing is. I don't know if everybody can hear big and heavy.
It's very low.
Oh, this is a case for the big heavy book. Okay, the big heavy book is inside the big heavy case. All right, so here we go. Carl Casper, for anybody who doesn't know, was a legendary car builder. Here we go. Here we go. This is what I needed to do the whole time. There we go. Here it comes. Whoa! There it is. Okay. Got that? There's all sorts of stuff in there. Now, mainly on the cover there, you see the old hot rods and the dragsters and everything. But how about the Keaton Batmobile? Legendary automotive king, auto pioneer, and restoration champion. It's pretty cool. Best wishes, Carl Casper.
That's
signed.
awesome.
And it's much easier on a coffee table than a talk show, obviously, or just sitting on the couch or a dining room would be nice. But isn't this cool? All this awesome old hot roddy stuff. Like some of these we've seen at the Peterson, like literally. And apparently he owns every car he ever built, supposedly, something like that. I don't know. It's pretty cool. Oh, there's the Knight Rider. He did the Knight Rider, owned by Carl Casper. Carl's kit is the authentic NBC Universal Licensed TV Knight Rider that was the #1 vehicle used in the entire filming of the Knight Rider TV series. That's all TM'd and copyrighted in NBC Universal. That's like asking for attention, so it must be true. Wow, that's crazy. So there's just some really cool stuff here.
It's great
I
art.
guess he did the Knight Rider with the Mustang too. Anyway, many thanks to Rick for this wonderful gift. Isn't that cool? Here we go. Really, really cool. And I can't wait to explore it. He actually gave me. It's funny he gave me two because he's like, "You're gonna see Leno before I do." I was like, "Well, okay. I mean, probably. I mean, I guess. I don't know." And so he gave me one that was signed, that Carl signed to Jay too, which is kind of funny. I don't know what I'm doing. Here we go. Now it's from 2001. Oh, I threw my shoulder out. Oh, Jesus. We're too fragile. We are too fragile over here. Oh, gosh. All right. Woo! I am winded. I bet that thing weighs 20 pounds.
It sounds it. I mean,
I know that
holy
shouldn't
cow.
be a lot for a healthy human being.
We used to get books like that at the office, though. I totally get. They're way heavier than they look, and you can never pick them up.
The quality, you could feel the quality. You know how like a piece of metal, a jewelry, electronics, anything with quality generally has some heft and weight to it. You know?
Yep.
That's a very quality book there, ladies and gentlemen. Some quality ink on that quality paper, quality binding, with a quality cover, I'll tell you that, and a quality damn box and everything. I'm just getting my breath. The other book is very small, but it's just going to take me a minute to get to it. But holy crap. I've been taking the stairs and everything lately.
I took it out of you.
Yeah. Well, we don't get any. I mean, the exercise I get now is getting you in and out of like the car and whatever. You know, we used to walk together. We used to, I mean, how active we used to be was crazy when we traveled or did any work together.
Yeah.
So we don't do much of any of that anymore. And,
Very sedentary.
And we've never talked about this anywhere, and I didn't anticipate talking about it on the show first. But while I have many times considered, oh, well, I should just go for a walk, I have not yet once done it because I feel guilty. Because I can go for a walk. And in the weirdest way, I don't let myself, which is a strange, unhealthy thing. But it's a weird thing that I'm realizing now that I do, and maybe I'll get over it. I don't know.
In my opinion, you should go when you want to. There's nothing for me holding you back, but I get it.
It does make, feels bad. I feel bad. It's like the kid from The Simpsons. The bully, you know?
Yep.
Oh, geez. All right, so that was the Carl Casper book, thanks to Rick Purcell. Much easier. Much easier. Now, today on Jay's Book Club, this is a book that was given to me the other day. Now, we heard about this coming, and I don't know why I didn't expect to actually receive it, but I got it the other day up at Breakfast Club by our friend Basem, who was there. And I was so delighted as I started paging through it because I really liked the content and I liked the artwork. People give you stuff all the time. You don't always like it. This is wonderful. It's called Speed Read Supercar by our friend Basim Wasif. And I'll let you in on what he wrote. I don't know. I'm always hesitant on whether I should read these or not. The personal inscriptions?
Usually you're okay.
Okay. For Jay and Nicole, two of the most inspirational forces in all of automobiledom. Stay super, Basim. Also because that's high praise, I thought to myself, well, I don't know if I want to say that out loud. But here's the book. It's called Speed Read Supercar. Damn it. And it is exactly that. There's all the sections. Everything's broken down very simply. And then the artwork is awesome. It's super cool. All of the coolest cars are in there. Plenty of Porsches, Lambos. There's the Lancia Stratus Zero. Super, super, super cool stuff. And as far as I know, I believe it's available on Amazon. So I would get it if you can. It's really, really cool. It's just got a good feel, too. It's not as heavy as the other one, thank God. But it's got a good feel. Become an instant expert on the world's greatest high-performance cars, the history of the supercar, the technology, engineering, and the behind-the-scene, and the design behind the top brand. Wow, my brain just sort of filled in the blanks there, didn't it? The key people behind the most important supercars of all time. And this is a very funny bullet, but I have to agree with it. It's beautifully illustrated. That is a real bullet right there. And it is indeed. It is indeed. So thank you, Basim. We love it. While we were going through things, the other day, I'm going to change the subject a second, but since it's Jay's show and tell, I thought this car was the only Back to the Future stuff I had left. That car and the stuff that Bob Gale sent after the Time Machine restoration. Remember, he sent a poster and a very nice note and card or something, picture, something. He sent some stuff. Remember that?
I do.
I don't mean to make light of it. It was beautiful. It was signed by Bob Gale and Robert Zemeckis and Steven Spielberg. No joke. So I don't mean to make light of it. But I thought that was the only stuff I had ever held on to. I knew that after... We had always thought we'd do another car, I think, when we first got rid of that one. And very quickly it became clear that that was never a good idea. And eventually I gave any of the car parts I had left over to Danny Bodkin down at DeLorean. Like, I literally thought I was out. Going through drawers the other day, and was it Back to the Future Day where I found this? Because we had done the show earlier.
Mm-hmm.
It was either Back to the Future Day or the day after. I found out that Jay does still have some screen-used props from Back to the Future, and it's pretty funny. And I forgot all about them, and I'm pretty happy about it. I'm pretty excited to have found something. So check this out. There's an At a Time, which is not the store-bought At a Time. This was a screen-used. In fact, this was a spinner plate. You can see where the stuff is. It was like, this deal. In fact, maybe it was this way. It looks like it was this way. But there was that, was screen used, and then this one was on the car and something. I can't remember whether it was the movies or the commercials or I can't remember. Who the hell remembers? But isn't that funny? Still got a little bit of DeLorean-dom cool. After all these years. And screen-used plates. It's pretty cool.
That's pretty cool.
In fact, and once I found out, I was like, oh, I remembered that because those were the screen-used ones from the thing or whatever it was. It was something that was like legitimately real. Yeah.
It's pretty cool. Such a neat part of your life that I just touched on the end, I think.
Well, yeah, I mean, you might have rescued me from it also, is another way to look at that. I liked it because I was a nerddom, but I was really just, whatever, this is a conversation for another show. I was just passing time in those days, you know what I mean? I was off my goal because of life and everything, and I think meeting you was sort of helped me get recentered. And even if it wasn't going to be you who helped me do whatever it was I was to do, somehow I saw something with you that was like, oh, okay, it's time to grow up now. Like, oh, okay, we're not going to do the movie car building anymore with your friends in the driveway late at night or the garage, or it doesn't matter if you're doing it for Universal Studios or your friend's birthday party. We treated them all the same, and that was very fun. But it was like, well, that's like something you do with your friends when you're kids and everything. There was nowhere to go with it.
True.
All my friends were doing it, and they were married, but like, our life couldn't have ever looked like that. You couldn't have been. The first couple years, do you mind if we talk about this? I hope it's okay. I hope you guys don't mind. More couples therapy with Jay and Nicole. We couldn't have been. This is so difficult to describe. We were on both sides of the fence. I was always able to do both sides. I was always able to be the nerd at the fence looking into the studio or whatever. You know what I mean? Looking into the glass at the Today Show. But I was also able to work at the Today Show, look out the glass at all the nerds. I was able to be both sides because I myself was a fan of things, am a fan of things. When we first met, I had only been to Comic-Con once before, and it was because all my friends were going, and I think the ticket was free. Like all of it, you know what I mean? Like I just lucked into it, like everything else in my life. Forrest Gump right here. You got magic legs. we need some magic legs. So I'd only been once before, and I saw what it was all about, and I saw it through all of my friends' fan eyes. I witnessed the professional side of it, but I didn't participate in it that year. And then like the very next year, or maybe one after, I started going with you professionally and being on the other side. But here's the weird conundrum with that. I fit in no problem. But when I walk by the fence, they all know me by name and by association, by life. You know what I mean? We were friends building these cars and whatever the heck. It's a weird thing, but we never. I had to let that go in order to be part of your life. I couldn't do both. I tried to do both for a long time. Remember that? For the first year, I tried to do both. Do you remember that? You remember how many friends I introduced to the Mythbusters and everything else while we were trying to like finagle?
Yeah. I mean, I had my own havoc at work with you because of your history. Like, personally, I couldn't do it. So it must have been hard. It was a weird time.
Well, it's funny. You want to... Speaking of going through things, I was going to do this as a comedy segment, but I never wrote it. You want to go through the old... What's in Jay's desk? Want to go through the old desk over here and do some spring cleaning? There's some funny stuff. Some stuff you've seen before. Some stuff you know about, but it's pretty funny to do, especially because it's Halloween. Like, here, why is this in the desk? There we go. Look, happy Friday the 13th, everybody. Happy Halloween. Okay, I got that. All right, along the same lines, you've seen me pull this out before. Here we go. Oh, yeah. That's the real deal. You betcha. You betcha.
Oh, my God.
Okay. A little Freddie and Jason for you. All right, let's see what else is in here. Hang on. Oh, yeah, this is good. Well, there's regular things, too. I mean, there's things like... I got a pencil sharpener. I mean, right? Why wouldn't I have a pencil sharpener? Gotta have that. I may as well use it since we're doing this. Since we're doing this little comedy segment. Tissues. Every talk show desk should have tissues. These are things you should have because you never know. I mean, in the beginning, I made guests cry all the time. Do you remember that? Whenever there was a comedian in here, I would have them crying by the end. We haven't had a comedian in here in forever. Our comedy booker disappeared. He's alive. He's not like disappeared, but, life. So you got to have your Kleenex, okay? That's a good thing. Yep, well, hang on. Before I open that, this looks like it goes with it, though it doesn't. When I was in high school, I had a talk show, whatever, at my high school. So here's my little name placard from my little high school talk show. That's good luck. So we keep that in there. This one's just weird. Anybody have any idea what this is?
Is that the game that we got? Can I say it?
You can say backgammon, but that's not it. No. This.
Oh my.
This is Dexter. This is Dexter's slide box.
Oh my God. I forgot it.
Seriously.
Had that. Totally forgot we had that.
I'm very serious. Like from the TV show Dexter, here's his slide box whatever his name was, John C. Riley. No, that's not it. John C. McGinley.
Michael C. Hall.
That's it. Michael C. Hall. Oh, no, I can't do it. And they're really glass, so I don't want to break them because there'll be blood everywhere. I'll be blamed for all this shit. Okay. Give me 1 second here. Oh, God. No. I don't want to get 9 and 10 confused. I mean, I guess I don't care, but when it comes to the DNA of it all, there we go. Dexter's slide box, okay? Damn, box of DNA, Mr. Dodd, is hilarious. All right, so we got that. Oh, you guys are going to like this one. You know what that is? Copper bones?
From Goonies.
Copper bones. Serious? How cool is that?
That's awesome.
Isn't it? Copper bones. From Goonies. Remember you put it on the thing and you twist?
Oh, yeah. I forgot we hit that, too.
Arm got caught in there somehow. It's we used to have the doubloon, too. I mean, I guess we probably still do someplace. Who knows where. And then, what else do we have in here? Oh, okay. Well, this is not funny per se, but here are the blue cards from every show we've ever done.
That's so funny.
From whenever we started doing blue cards, anyway. 82. It's 82.
I just found mine, too. That's so
69.
funny.
No, we probably go right down to the beginning, I would guess, with all of these. That's pretty funny, isn't it? And this is a personal favorite, and nobody will be able to guess what this is. If somebody guesses what this is, I can't give it to him because it's yours, and I don't want to give it away. But if somebody guesses what this is, I'll give you something else up at Breakfast Club, okay? Have any idea what this is, just real quick? Oh, you'll never be able to tell from that. You'll never be able to tell from that. What about here? On Instagram, you might be able to tell. How close do I have to get before you can actually see it? This is the key to the latch in Lost.
I love that we have that. It makes me so happy.
Here, let me hold it up there. Can you see? No, maybe. Dharma. It's the action. Remember, it's the key that they turn into the latch at the end in Lost. Yeah, latchkey kid. Yeah, she gets it. She gets it. Goonies is goat. Laura says latchkey kid. The key to my heart says topless Targa. Show us your Targa. Spring break. Oh my goodness! And Vicks, by the way, is just on the set of most productions. It's good for it's good for you to have your sinuses clear if you're going to be speaking into a microphone. So most radio stations and TV shows have this. Some things you'll see at every place: gaff tape, Kleenex, tissues, Vicks. Everybody's got it.
I saw that all the time and I had no idea.
But you know why now, right?
Now I know. Now I totally
and that would
get
clear
it.
your sinuses, and that way you maintain your whole thing. Otherwise, if you're talking, your throat dries out. Everything gets dry.
Yeah.
Not in my case, apparently. I'm the Energizer Bunny. Coming through, I got something to say. Laura says, I was thinking when kids wore keys around their necks to school. Totally. My generation did that, I think. But I always thought that even that was sort of a kid's version of the dog tag, like of an adult's military deal. Because, it was the same kind of a nondescript ball clasp chain, whatever that's called, this kind of deal. This is amazing having a nice close-up camera here on the desk. I really do like it. I love these Instagram shows. They really are fun for me. You guys are all here, so obviously you're digging it. Oh, you were a latchkey kid, Damon McCarthy. The sad kids whose moms actually had jobs. Yeah, I didn't realize it was sad at the time.
It's pretty awesome if you could do that.
What?
If you had the discipline to do that, like most of myself, like no discipline. Clearly, that's listed. Latchkey kid, doing your own stuff.
Oh, okay, yeah. But yeah, it's funny. Yeah, you're not a solo-y kind of person. Anytime
No.
I've ever asked you to do anything, you have always gotten someone else involved to do it.
I thought about that. I've thought about this a lot. That's my way of learning. Like, I don't get stuff from books because there's just too many. Like, but I get it from people that know what they're talking about. So I do.
I know, but and it's wonderful. You keep learning however you want to learn.
But I do ask people for things because of that, I think.
Right, but things could just get. Doesn't matter. I don't want to talk about this here. I mean, unless you do. You okay?
Yes. I'm collecting my thoughts.
Okay.
Apparently, I'd go
But
silent.
you know we're in public here, right? We've got company.
Yeah. I'm the worst at talking over people now, so I'm super aware not to do that.
You think you talk over people?
Yes. Do I not?
No, I don't think so at all.
Oh, good.
Topless Garage, kids that were left alone at home after school until their parents got home after work. Yeah. Yep. I was one. And my parents were divorced. So it was just the mom, waiting for the mom to come home. And waiting to see what mood she'd be in. Oh, my goodness. No, just kidding. Well, I'm not. I'm actually not kidding even a little bit, but the trauma's gone. I'll tell you what, Laura. I don't know if they're the best kids, but they definitely are self-sufficient. It's weird. I can do everything. There's nothing I can't do.
Yeah.
And I don't. That's not like a tout my own horn kind of thing. There's fucking nothing I don't know how to do. I know everything, every little aspect of everything, except business. I'm not good at business. But all the stuff you would do after, like, clean the house or get your thing or rearrange your room and all that stuff. Yeah, nailed it.
Yeah, you know all that stuff inside and out.
Set designer, housekeeper, hilarious. We always had one house on the block to run to if things went crazy. Oh, wow, that's smart. That's smart. If things went crazy with your parents, or if things went crazy like with the whole family. Gen Xers don't need shit from no one. Yeah, that's a weird thing, Kayla Marzo, isn't it? I think our parents, I don't know. I always thought it seemed to me like my parents' generation, and I'm not speaking solely of my parents, because actually I don't feel this of my dad because he was sort of an older generation, but of my mom and the rest of my parents' generation, they always struck me as sort of a selfish bunch. I could be wrong about that. They probably think the same thing about our generation. But it just always seemed like their parents were the greatest generation, so they didn't need to do shit. So everything was sort of like, we can do whatever we want. You know, hippies, baby boomers, all that shit.
Yep.
And I don't know.
Totally right.
And then it seemed like it spawned our generation, which seemed to take things a little bit more seriously and being like, quit fucking around. The Earth's going to shit.
Yeah. You're right. That was all about their identity. Whatever that was, like.
That's it. It was and there's no judgment about that because everything, you know what I mean? It's all, one begets the other. It's all cyclical. But that was just always my observation. And I could be very wrong about that.
I think you're right. I think you're close.
Danny says, checking mom's voicemail for tardy notices. Oh, that's hilarious. But voicemail is funny because, like, for me, it was they used to have to would send you home with a letter, and you'd have to have somebody sign it, and then you'd have to bring it back to school. And one time, and only one time, in the 5th grade with Mrs. Fire, did I not want to do that. And it wasn't because I was afraid of getting in trouble. It's kind of what I joked about a few minutes ago. Like, whenever my mom did come home that night, like, it was just not a good night, and I was not going to add to it. And you can't say that stuff at school. They'll take you out of your home. You know what I mean? You can't be like, well, my mom was in a bad mood, so I didn't want her to sign it because she'd beat me. Like, it wasn't that, you know. But I remember doing it. I wrote, and I didn't do the whole signature. I just wrote her initials because she did that frequently. But That's what I did. And I don't know. I thought it was fine, but I guess not. And she and I wouldn't lie about it, but I just tried to pass it in. And later in the day or whatever, she came over to me with fire in her eyes, Mrs. Fire, 5th grade at Rockwell Elementary School in Bethel, Connecticut. And she goes, "Is this your mother's signature?" And I fucking, she got right in my face, and I froze, and I go. And she goes, "You're in big trouble." And then she left the room. She wasn't even my teacher. Mr. Sharkey was my teacher, but whatever that thing was for her thing or whatever. So she came in here. She was pissed. She knew what was up. I don't know. Maybe she thought I would lie about it. Because I guess you're probably supposed to. It's like if you've gone this far, you're supposed to just double down and lie about it because maybe they won't actually call your parents. Because it's up to you at that point. Like if you say yes, it's 50-50.
Yep.
Oh, I never could do it. Same thing with Letterman on the porch, with the microphone. Like if he had just asked me, "So, look, kid, I would have been like, "Totally. So here's what happened," and I would have spilled the whole thing. You know what I mean? I don't know. At that point in my life, now I got the guts to talk to anybody about anything. But back then, I didn't. I couldn't do it. Hilarious. But anyway, yeah, I totally did it the one time. And then I think I've told you guys already the one time, but I called. It was the first day. Irony. The first day I was doing my little high school television show. It was like it would have been, I guess, sophomore year of high school. This is in Wilton, Connecticut now, in the little TV studio. Got my little desk, got the little chairs, got my microphone, all this stuff set up. And I wasn't going to be ready on the day of the show, so I decided that the night before I would call in. I would call in sick, but I was going to go to school and work in the studio all day because I was behind. I had to do all this stuff. We had the weather guy was coming, Dr. Mel Goldstein, the meteorologist for Connecticut, right on the news. That guy was coming, and like all my friends, there was 20 tickets. Like kids were going to be in the audience. Like there was so much stuff to do. I was not ready. Math, science, all this crap. They wanted me to freaking. Can't produce that right now. I got my show to do, and so whatever. So I called in, and I was like, "Oh, Ryan's not going to be, in school today, whatever." And I never said like, "Hey, I'm." Boy, wouldn't it be funny if I was like, "Hey, I'm Jay's dad." I don't remember what I actually said, but it was something to the effect of, "I'm calling on behalf of, my and I won't be, and he won't be in school. He won't be in school today." Something. Oh God, it was so funny. But then I took the bus to school and everything. Like I went to school. I didn't go to any of my classes. I didn't go to homeroom. I literally took my backpack off behind my little skyline in my set, and I just went to work all day long. And they kept coming in like, "Hey, aren't you supposed to be in whatever?" And I was like, "It's a work study." And sure enough, I got everything done and everything, and whatever. The guy, the Dr. Mel, the weather guy came, and it was great and it was hilarious. The kids were excited to see the weather guy. The weather guy was happy to do something educational. It was awesome. Win, win, win. Was somewhere in the middle. The school had called my dad. So when my dad came to pick me up at like 4:00 or whatever, 2 hours after school had ended, because we were shooting this thing after school. So I was at school all day, having not gone to school all day. And then my dad's and then I'm there 2 hours after for extracurricular to do the actual taping. Then my dad picks me up and he's like furious and he's like, "So you're playing hooky, huh?" The whole thing. And I got in so much trouble. But the same thing, when he saw the tape of what had happened, he was like, all was forgiven. He was like, "You put that effort, you went to school and you put the effort into that, and you got the weather." Like, he was so impressed with the whole thing.
I bet. It's a hilarious story. Because
the 2 times I've ever tried to get away with that shit, though, and I couldn't tell the truth either time. I mean, I couldn't lie about it either time. The moment I was like, "All right, here's what happened," the moment there was any resistance, I caved, totally cracked. I would have been the worst, like, Stand By Me kid or whatever. Like, "All right, there was this body, okay, and we were on a bridge, and a train came." Portia, one place in case we got hurt while playing. Oh, that makes sense. Did you guys ever have a secret word is not the right word, but like a password? My parents, you remember be careful of the stranger in the green car. Remember, like, there was that crazy thing going around in the 80s and 90s or whatever, and They were taking kids. They were taking kids in the 80s and 90s. I guess they're still doing it now. I guess they always have been, and we're just hearing about it again. I don't know. But when I was a kid, it was like in the papers. People are taking kids. Don't let them take your kids. And so tell your kids not to get taken. And that's where don't talk to strangers came from. And that's where like in this case, this is where the passcode came from, and it was so you had to have a word so that if some stranger ever came up to you to be like, "Look, your dad sent me to pick you up," you know, or your mom said, "Oh, I'm friends with your mom," which was freaking true 9 times out of 10 in my case because she had a lot of that type of friends. So I don't know what I'm saying, except I'm saying it. So it would be like whatever, hamburger. It doesn't matter what the word is. But be like, so I'm your dad's friend George, and he told me to pick you up. And you're like, but George, your car's green, and my parents told me not to talk to strangers. And he'd be like, hamburger. And he'd be like, oh, okay, I can totally get in George's creepy green car because he said hamburger. Did anybody else ever have that, or was that just something my parents were trying to, probably in one after-school special or one parenting book
We
or
tried
something?
it. We tried it one time, but it was the same week that there was fire prevention, and we had a rope thing out the window, and none of us would do it. We were afraid of heights.
Wow, does that seem unrelated? I mean, hang on. Let's do your thing. Your thing sounds way more interesting.
We had that word thing too, and it was the same week. It was all safety precautionary shit. And we had a fire drill where you had to throw a thing out the window and you were supposed to climb down it, but none of my family would.
So it's just an unrelated safety thing. In this case, fire safety.
It was related in my head, sorry.
Because it was probably taught at the same thing.
It was all the, yes, it was all the same week in the same.
I put what you're talking about totally up there with what Teresa was just saying about having, like, if somebody got hurt or whatever, there was one house you could go because Mrs. Whatever was always there or whatever, and she could call 911 or take you to the hospital or whatever. I'm guessing it was something like that. 101 Cars and Coffee. I would skateboard all day, home when streetlights turned on. That was our thing in the winter when the streetlights turned on, for sure. That was for sure it. Yeah. For sure. I had a friend in the attendance office. Oh, Kayla Marzo, genius. My mom taught me her signature. Mine was the one on file. Hilarious. Laura, that's hilarious. Similarly, when we worked on, when we actually worked on Everybody Hates Chris, I did the job of a UPM, which is a unit production manager, but I wasn't in the DGA, so nobody could call me a UPM. And I also did the job of different levels of producer. I couldn't be called a producer because I wasn't the PGA. So I think the title was like production supervisor. All of this to say, every single call sheet, production report, any type of official paperwork was signed by me with a what you're talking about, a forged UPM signature. The guy was there. I mean, he was on the clock. In fact, he taught me everything I know when it comes to production managing. His name was Wayne Farlow, and he, from pilot to the entire run, he worked on Dallas. No joke. Like, that's how old school he is. But Wayne Farlow. And I used to do the exact same thing. And it was a weird, I used to tell people the same thing you just did because it's a weird, the system's inside out. I had another friend growing up. His name was Roman Caggiano, and he slightly Italian. And his brother, Marco Caggiano, was 2 years older than him, 3 years older than him, something like that. So what this translates to is he was drinking age earlier. So my friend Roman, at some point somehow got one of Marco's old licenses and then went to, I can't believe I'm telling this because it's definitely illegal, but it was like 30 years ago almost now. He got one of Marco's licenses and then went to the DMV and then basically just told them he was Marco. So he got another Marco license with Roman's picture from the actual state DMV. Like, it can't get any more legitimate fake ID than this.
Wow.
And he used that for years. I don't even remember if he actually drank, but he was a pool player, so he used to use that to get into places to play pool.
That's amazing. Like, especially if it's just for entrance, like, that's awesome.
But it's like what Portia Girl's talking about here, about like the forged signature is the one on file. It's her signature that's on file. It's inside out.
Yeah.
It's so great.
I love that.
12 years on half pipe. Wow, good old days. My goodness gracious. Till says, I don't feel tardy. That Portugal, you were living. Car showaholic. Hello, hello. Laura says, I had a line of kids I would sign for before school. Hilarious. Hilarious. That's amazing. Adrian Chan. Hello, Adrian. Turking. Pally Zhang. Kayla Marzo. Rudy. You, sir, are an asshole. Is that Ferris Bueller, right? Rudy. You're an asshole, right? Gotta be. When Cameron was in Egypt's land, let my Cameron go. Patrick Brass says, happy birthday to me. Happy birthday, Patrick Brass. Over on the YouTube, chiming in on the comments. I like it. 4K Rally join. One says, I used to have my sister call in for me. Unfortunately, I didn't know my mom started volunteering at the school office. Oops. Hilarious. So your sister calls in for you. Oh, you're both in trouble.
Awesome.
The jig is up. Ooh, that one burns. But man, you were a little troublemaker, weren't you? That's great. That's great.
That's awesome.
Skateboarding and calling in for school. It's great. She called in as my mom. Oh, it's worse. It's worse. That's wrong. So that's what I was afraid to do. I didn't call in as my dad. I was just like, I'm calling in for J-Line or whatever. It's hilarious. JP, what's up, JP? I have a word for the coffee monkey when he is acting up in public. What is it? We need that. We need that. You need that for me. And I don't know if I have the guts to use it with you, but you need it for me, for sure. Hamburger. Oh, well, I can get in. No problem. Topless Targa, pick me up. No safe word, but we were smart asses, so we usually escape most trouble. That was me, too. Of course we had passwords. Single mom tricks. Oh, that was a single mom trick. Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, that didn't occur to me. Right, because she was often working and couldn't pick me up. That was the whole reason. Oh, that's so funny. I always forgot mine. That Porsche girl, that's terrible. Ours was kind of like always the same, which I think defeats the purpose in the other way. Like, everybody knows it, right? Yeah, sure. Great. She had it printed on my T-shirt so I wouldn't forget. Muy. Oh, my, with a muy, because Kayla Marzo is, I can't remember. You're not Brazilian. What are you? I remember, South American, though. My parents rolled the dice. No password. They had 3 boys. They figured they had spares in case one was taken. Yeah, probably the same thing with injuries and stuff, right? Chris Hunley's here. Hey, Chris Hunley. That Porsche girl. Hey, haha, Kayla. Underscore, what up? Underscore, what up? Hilarious. Who writes underscore? That's so funny. Hey now, Chris Hunley says. Hey now. I have a strangers who are awesome. I have a strangers are awesome tee that has a dangerous stranger giving a lollipop to a child. Oh, any other bloke. You're silly. That is funny though. That's exactly what we're talking about. It's funny that it's a joke on a T-shirt. It's teaching kids the wrong way, I think. Yeah. Although I grew up with candy cigarettes, talk about the wrong message.
Yeah, I used to smoke those at the pool.
Smoke those. Used to chew. Didn't they turn into gum or were they just sugar?
They were the gum, I think.
Yeah.
After the powder dissipated.
Yeah.
Horrible.
When I worked at Conan, there was another show on that they used to come on and promote all the time with that girl, Amy Sedaris, Strangers with Candy. Mm-hmm. Strangers with Candy. That's what it was called, Strangers with Candy. Mm-hmm. Oh, I guess it was funny then, too. I don't know. I was so obsessed with the talk show of it all and working and doing production. Like, I didn't really ever get to watch the content of what the shows were and who the people were. There's so many people that we got to meet that, like, I can't even remember. That Rosie, too, that I... Like, we see clips that Conan puts up now, and I'll be like, oh, I was there for that. Oh, I was there for that. Oh, I was there for that. Chris Farley and Adam Sandler were there, like, every day. because they were downstairs from upstairs, and they were all Conan, and it was that was
Yeah.
the first time Lauren ran both shows, so everybody was between 6 and 8 all the time. One vintage, Darian Dorian Dammit says, my brother was hell on wheels. So while I had quick judgment, the school realized I was not him. I believe I got away with more because I always made nice with the facility. Facility. He says facility, but it might be faculty. Either way, I agree with both of those. I think that I got away with a shit ton because I was very polite. In fact, I hesitate to say I know I did, because I was all those comments. I would get C's, D's, and F's, and doesn't apply himself and doesn't do his homework, all this crazy stuff. But it would always be like, participates well, pleasure to have in class. He would do whatever he wanted to do, and that's about it. What else is new, I guess? Yum guy. Some guy says UPM story so funny. Well, you probably, I mean, you're in the business too, so you probably have stories like that too, or at least know stories like that. That's awesome. You started production in school. Yeah. Well, I stopped school because I started production. I mean, I don't know how much you know about that, Darian Dorian, damn it, but I'll tell you on or off the air. I mean, I just told you that story was sophomore year in high school. So I was flunking everything because I was putting all my effort into this little thing. And then, kind of like now, some things never change. And then the school saw that that's what I was doing. So they were like, well, look, he's clearly smart. I mean, he can have a goddamn conversation. He's sold us 50 different times, and then he hasn't done his homework like he keeps saying he will. So why don't we get him into a work study type of deal where he can actually do this? So they put me into an internship junior year at the local TV station in like the next town. The next town over was a little bit bigger. It was Norwalk, and they had a News 12. It's News 12 New York. It's still in existence. I just don't know if they have the Connecticut studio anymore. But it was Connecticut and Long Island and New Jersey, and so that's where I learned it. So instead of going to school, I got to stop going to high school after the summer. Well, I guess after whatever so sophomore year, then the summertime, then junior year I start going to night school, and instead of going to school in the morning, I drive that's what it was. I take my mom to work, and then I take her car from work to, I didn't even have my license officially yet, but it was only like it wasn't a mile and a half or something. And then I would drop her off, and then I would go to work all day, and I would work on 3 live productions a day. There was like a production show in the morning, like a live talk show type of Today Show type of deal in the morning, and one of those type of deals. And there was an astrology show, and then there was a news show, whatever. But that's what I did junior year, and then I would leave that at 5:00, and then I would go to school from 5:30 to 9. Okay, and I was thrilled to do it because I was now working in television, and now I was talking to adults, and I was I was horribly undeveloped, but I was happier, and I could get along better with them. I couldn't talk to people my age. My friends, I didn't make sense to them. They were like, why aren't you doing your work? I'm like, why are you? Why are you? I don't get it. That's awesome. You started production school. Yeah. And then senior year, I ended up going down to 30 Rock every day, and ended up eventually getting a job there. But I was like interning and apprenticing down there senior year on those shows, on Conan, on Rosie, on Saturday Night Live, on Today Show, on Dateline before it was Dateline. It used to be called Now with Katie Couric. There was a Jane Pauley show in the Film Vault. I can't remember what that one was called. I worked on that one too. Like Time and Again with Jane Pauley. Anything that was done at 30 Rock at the time. So that was a really long way to be like, I really worked in production in high school. Like I really legit did. Like I was working on the television you were watching when I was in high school.
Yeah.
That's the funny thing. National network television, I was working on it when I was too young to probably even ride the train alone to get down there. Pretty funny. It's really all I've ever known. And then I became like a production supervisor, like I said before, and producer and production manager and stuff. Never, ever, ever going back into like, oh, don't you want to be in front of the camera? I thought, remember you were developing this little funny guy personality and all that crap. Mm-hmm. It always served us well, like socializing in our Comic-Con-y stuff or whatever, but it wasn't, all it meant was I could hang with the talent. That's all it meant. But then it was like, once it came time to work, I was nowhere to be seen because I wasn't part of it.
Yeah. Not only because I love you and I'm married to you, but you were funnier than most of the people we were with. So they always wanted to talk to you to get your take on things. They wanted to be funny also, and you helped them cultivate that.
If that's true, I'll take it. That'd be huge praise. Huge praise. If that's true, I'll take it. Because I wanted to be one of all of those cool kids. And I was always so sad that I wasn't, actually. It was like, oh, I had to go behind the scenes again. Oh, okay. And then that's when I would take all those behind the scenes shots that
I can't lie anymore, so it's truer than true.
Oh, that's true. You can't lie anymore. That's true. Just keep an eye on you, some guy. Dom LMAO, does he know that role that Dallas played in taking down the Romanian dictatorship? I don't think. Well, I mean, he might. It's funny you mentioned that. He was also on. Oh no, never mind. It was a different movie. he did the Hindenburg. Never mind. Different movie altogether. Telling you, well, it's true. Wait, what? See, now they're getting it. He let the people watch Dallas as a means of showing how disgusting USA was, and it backfired. It helped spark the revolution. That's true. That is at least how I was told the story as well. It's like one of those times when you, like David Koresh or whatever, there's a whatever, and they blast the loud music or something. It's like, this is going to really annoy them. But meanwhile, that guy's like, I love this song. Put it on a loop. It was that kind of deal. Thanks for the show and have a nice evening. Have to run. We have to too. It's been over an hour. I can't believe it. Talking to you guys goes so quickly. So quickly. Sometimes when we're sitting here with a guest, I'll have to go pee or something. And I'll be like, where is the time? I'm clicking cameras back and forth. Whenever it's just you guys at Instagram, I guess maybe because my attention is elsewhere or everywhere, it just seems to fly by. Every password my mother uses is Jesus Christ. That's hilarious. That's hilarious. Some guy, we should talk tomorrow about Cars and Comedy. I call Chris Hunley _ because of his username. Oh. All right. I didn't want to scroll all the way back up. This is going to be way late by the time you get to this, but Argentina. I'm from Argentina, and I knew that. I'm sorry, I forgot. I knew it wasn't Brazil. I knew it was further. He's never scrolling to these before the show is over. Yes, I am. I'm showing you that I'm going to. Best joke from Strangers with Candy. Look, Stu, I know you got a lot of beef, but don't go stirring things up. I got to go have some dinner. See you guys Friday. All right, JP. Kayla Marzo, see you, Johnny. This is great catching up with her. Yellow. My worst on-set story is with a UPM. Ugh, I'm not surprised because somebody was trying to cut your budget, I'm sure, right? It depends. Depends on what you're dealing with. We all learned of a tragic story where it sounds like safety protocols were probably to blame. That's just me and my objective, but very experienced opinion. Yeah, I was one of those guys where safety first. In fact, I don't know if I got into trouble, but I definitely butted heads with a number of agencies I worked with in the commercial space because they especially want to just get it, just keep the client happy, just get exactly what we said we're going to do. Ooh, they came up with this idea on set and it's the client, so we got to do it, whatever. And sometimes those ideas are totally fine, and sometimes it involves starting a car on set with people around it and stuff like that, and just weird things. And nope, not on my watch. You can do it, but you're taking me off everything. I mean, you're paying me. You're keeping me on my paycheck, but you're taking me off the production report, the call sheet. You're taking me off as the name of record who's responsible, because I won't be. And that sounds like what happened on the Rust shoot. It sounds like a number of people did walk out because they were like, no.
Yeah.
And I don't think they were union grievances. It didn't sound like, it's not like, oh, I didn't get my meal penalty. I don't know if you know what that means or not, but there's all sorts of different ins and outs of the industry. It's not about that. It was about somebody sent text this isn't safe. This isn't safe.
everything
This is
I've
so far
read
from
it
safe.
pulls another layer back of like something was bound to happen.
And I don't mean Alec Baldwin, by the way. Though, it's sad to say, like, he does play a role. I mean, any proper set safety. There was a huge article. Did you read the article in the Post today, New York Post?
No.
Well, they came down on Alec Baldwin with some other armorer who was like, it starts and ends with Alec Baldwin. And his reasoning was, and this is true, it is the first rule of firearms. This thing, nothing gets aimed or pointed at anything that you're not prepared to destroy. They'll teach you that in any firearm safety course, not even on a set. So it never should have been aimed at a person, even if it was empty, even if it was a prop.
I thought that too.
But if no one told him that, I mean, I don't know about you guys. I've never seen Alec Baldwin in a Western before. And the only thing I've ever seen him where he might have even carried a prop gun, maybe Descendants, I don't know. Not Beetlejuice, I'll tell you that. And not the Match Game. So it really comes down to his, what his education was too. I don't know. It's not my place. I have a feeling we're going to be finding out a lot more information. It's just tragically sad. And the same kind of story as the Brandon Lee. That one, the Crow.
Yeah.
Crazy pants.
So sad.
Anyway, so Laura, I bet a lot of times it comes down to money with those guys because that's their job, the bottom line, you know. Not what you think. Good story, though. Okay, I can't wait to hear it. Some guy. I was ready to cancel someone. Jay, resume solid or resume solid. I worked at Green Trees Cafe at 30 Rock across from Radio City. Hilarious. I'm not sure there was a diner in that space back then that I think is gone and might have become the Green Trees you're talking about. That would have been the one across from Radio City because it was Hurley's on the other side on the 48th Street. It's 49th and 50th, right? So on the 49th Street side, it's Hurley's, or it used to be. And on the 50th Street side, it was always that diner for years and years and years that was so great until it finally went Lindy's, I think. And then that finally went out. And then it became, for a short time, it became a place called Television City. And it was like Talk Show the Restaurant. They were kind of doing a ripoff of what was going on upstairs, but like live. It was like Planet Hollywood was big. Hard Rock was big. All those theme restaurants were huge at the time. There was Harley Davidson Cafe, Fashion Cafe. Remember there was all those?
Yeah. And I vaguely remember the Talk Show one too.
And it was there, and I bet it's in the same spot that Green Trees was, because nothing else could be there. Everything else is spoken for real estate. But this is way back in the old days when like the NBC store was in the building, like by security and stuff, and small, not the NBC experience it is now, where it's 3 floors and theaters and all sorts of other shit.
It's ridiculous now.
Laura, I didn't know if I realized you lived in New York. I was on Green Acres when I was a kid actor. Chris Hundley, I believe that. That's amazing. What was Atlas? What was Green Acres is the place to be. Farm living is the life for me. Do you remember the rest?
Yeah.
No, I don't.
Far and wide. Countries. That's all I know.
I did the lighting for my high school play, so basically the same as Jay. Dan, it's identical. It's the same. By the way, I also did lighting for all the high school plays. Because again, I was a tech guy. I learned all the tech stuff. Dan says, one of the drama girls in high school had a crush on me, so same as you. That's awesome. Drama girls were typically pretty hot. I had a crush on all the drama girls. I thought they all thought I was gay, and the truth is, I found out later a lot of them had crushes on me too, but like nobody knew how to do anything back then. Near miss. You know? And then I found out it was like one of the girls who, whatever they thought they didn't think I was. They teased me because they thought that was how they thought I would, you know, if I was a regular guy, I would be like, oh, I'll prove to you I'm not gay. You know what I mean? But I wasn't that guy, so I just fucking seemed gay or whatever. Although that's funny, I never really did get that in high school. It was always kind of later in life. The now of it all. Although probably not now either. But when I met you, that was going on. Like a metrosexual, whatever they call it.
Some girl
Metrosexual?
pulled me aside at a party we were at and was like, you know he's gay, right? I'm
Yeah.
like,
Here's the thing: you're not the only one. I think a number of my girlfriends got pulled over aside. They were always. It was not true, obviously. I think it just comes. I was very pretty, and I used to like the reason I don't shave. Nobody knows this probably is because of her. She doesn't. She thinks I look too young when I shave, or it used to be anyway.
I do. I was also told I looked way too old to marry you by a kid. So I'm
I love that story.
sensitive.
That was funny. It was producer Kate's daughter, Maya, who's a full-blown adult now, by the way, taller than Kate and everything. But I remember that when it was the first time I met her.
Probably.
First time I was over their house.
Mm-hmm.
She goes, you can't marry him.
Yeah. She was horrified.
Hilarious.
But
Oh, you know what? Actually, no. I think that was she knew me already, but I think maybe we'd gotten engaged and you were over there taking pictures or something. Because I don't, or showing pictures. It's a great story, regardless.
I remember showing my picture and her face fell. She's like, "You're too old to marry him."
So funny. Great Eye finally made it on here. Hope you're not done. Well, I mean, we are. We are done. We are done. Hope that doesn't just happen. Serious stuff must have been going down. Makes the heart hurt. I feel for all involved. I worked with Alec. He's not the most stable person. Total hothead. Yeah. Still awful what happened. Because of exactly what you said, Laura, I made a prediction the other day with our friends at breakfast that I'd be very surprised if we saw him professionally again. Like, he certainly can overcome this. I don't know that he'll want to. He's done an awful lot. And I wouldn't be surprised if, because he has a lot of darkness in him, I would not be surprised if this is very difficult to overcome.
I thought that too.
Beetlejuice, my favorite movie as a kid. Topless Target, it's one of mine still. It's just great. We watched it not too long ago, and it's just great. In fact, it's better now. I still notice.
Yep.
I've seen that movie, I don't know how many times, 30, 40 times in my lifetime. Probably more than that. Probably 50 times. Probably more than that. I could keep going, folks. I notice something new every time. It's so deep. It's so detailed. There's so much stuff.
Yeah.
I think maybe we had a little something this time, and we were like, whoa, did you ever notice that? I never noticed that.
I always took it in really superficially, and now I'm paying attention to shit, and it's a good story. There's a lot to it.
Great Eye, crazy situation, so sad, and he's in a world of trouble. Senseless death, just awful. I definitely don't agree with you there. He's definitely not in a world of trouble, as far as I know. He's definitely not in a world of trouble. I mean, whatever. I just don't agree there. There are so many other checks and balances that failed along the way to get to a gun that goes in his hand that gets called cold on set. I mean, so many people should have checked and balanced that before it got to him, that really his job is to simply not point it at anybody. But he is definitely supposed to assume that it is unloaded and whatever that other people have said. Now, here's the issue with that. All gun safety probably goes out the window when the director and the DP or whatever are saying, here, you need to point it over here. They were lining up a shot at that moment. That's why everybody was so close and in the vicinity, not at Video Village they keep talking about. So, you know what I mean? Like, they weren't even doing anything yet. We were getting ready to do something. Everything should be perfectly safe right now. It sounds like there's other things, like that gun was used for target practice. Another thing with live rounds, like why are live rounds in this same thing? There's so many other checks and balances. The armorer on that show this is only her second movie, and while she's spent a life in the business because her father did that trade, that does not mean that she has the expertise or the experience to do it at the same level. I would be very surprised if there weren't toxicology reports on everybody who was on that set to find out if there was, anything involved or anything, because this is that serious. But to say that Alec Baldwin's in a world of trouble, I just can't agree with that statement. Treat every weapon as if it were loaded. Never point at anything you are not prepared to shoot. Keep fingers straight and along the receiver until ready to fire. Keep weapon on safe until ready to fire. I agree with all that, Dom, and that's like straight handgun safety. This was, an antique revolver on an antique, everything is period. They were practicing a quick draw move. There's a lot to it. I mean, I agree with everything you just said. In fact, I said a version of it earlier. Universal safety rules in the military. Yeah, and Dom, is very experienced. He's got 11 years in the military. Some guy goes, Dom, Alec Baldwin didn't do boot camp. And that's part of the problem, because if you are, handling these things on set, you should be given also safety meetings. Like, there are certain safety memos that have to be attached to the call sheet on days like this so that everyone understands. There are certain safety briefings that need to be given live on set before. Like, there's just so many checks and balances. Who knows what was going on? It sounds like a lot of union people left that set due to what they considered an unsafe environment. So who knows? When on set, prop master does all kinds of checks. Yeah. I thought I was the only one old enough to remember all of that. Land stretching out so far and wide, keep Manhattan, just give me that countryside. Well, that's got to be a lyric for sure. Chris Hunley, lands spreading out so far and wide. Oh, okay, so now everybody's doing it. Great, now that song is going to be in my head. It's a tragedy, but Alec is an actor. Everything is fake. And he was probably shocked it really shot it. Yeah, absolutely. Amen. Exactly. Darling, I love you. Just give me my countryside. Apparently, I missed the song here. Nobody on Instagram singing it. I can't hear it. LMA of it. People thinking Jay was gay. Yeah, not so much anymore. I don't think I give a fuck. But I was a people pleaser there for 20 years in the middle there. So, remember that Everclear song? Anything to Everyone or Everything to Everyone? Whatever it is. That was it. Her too.
Yep.
I was very pretty. Babyface, too happy. Must be gay. The mask is creepy. I'm looking it up. Oh, yeah, the mask is creepy. The mask is creepy. You're right. Sorry about that. Woo! What's up? What's up? Yeah. Everything's fine. Everything's
Love
fine.
freaks me out.
Alec will go back to theater. Alec is incredibly talented. I don't think we'll see him hosting Match Game anytime soon. I really think he'll, I don't know. I think he'll just go live his life. He's got a young kid. He's got a wonderful wife that he loves.
Yeah. I'm with you.
Also, The Goonies, another fave. Goonies, Cyndi Lauper, baby. Absolutely. Goonies, good enough. Miss Argentina. So you're still here, Calamarza. You didn't go. Was the green girl in the waiting room on Beetlejuice. Are you serious? That's hilarious. And I'll tell you this. If I knew then what I know now, I wouldn't have had my little accident. Is that who you're talking about? Or was she blue? She might have been blue. That's a very cool. That's a very cool. I don't know why I still cry at Goonies when the housekeeper yells, "Don't sign the papers." Dude, same thing happened to us the other day. No Peterman, no Peterman, no sign, no Peterman. We watched that like within the last month as well, and it was exceptionally good, especially as an adult who has those weights on them now. We were kids. It was our time down there. But now we're adults. It's our time up here, and like those same pressures and,
Yeah.
Oh, hi, Mikey. I'm raising the flag.
Totally different perspective.
The prop master is at fault, but with the walkout, there are too many layers to the story. Totally agree with you, that Porsche girl. I mean, straight up agree with you. Also, I'm going to say AD, because if anything I've ever worked on with a firearm, live or otherwise, and never live, but whether it's a live blank or just a rubber prop, anything I ever did had to be handed person to person with certain words said while they looked at each other in the eye. And I don't know if this was a union requirement, but it was definitely a requirement from the armorers that we always worked with. So what that meant was, if somebody was going to, it's hilarious that I don't have a gun prop here, but I'm kind of glad I don't. If somebody were to hand you this as a weapon, they would have to hand it to you looking at you in the eyes and say, blah, 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 whatever, hot and cocked. And then you would say, okay, whatever, the Glock 19, hot and cocked. And you would have to literally do that kind of a, this is this? Yes, this is this. And both agree to it. And it sounds like the prop master put a gun on the table, and some AD picked the gun up off the table because it was over here marked unloaded or whatever, and then they just gave it to Alec Baldwin and said, here, unloaded, cold gun. That's not, of course there's going to be an accident. Of course there's going to be an accident. Of course there's going to be an accident. Now, I don't know that that's what happened, but that's what sounds like what happened. Hello from Maryland. Hello. Got to go, kids. Hoping to catch you Friday. Yeah, we got to go too, man. Sorry, this is late. It's supposed to be an hour. I'm telling you, talking to you guys is so much fun, and because you interact. I'm sorry about this. This is creepy as hell. Now I see it. Anyway, it's fun. Green Acre song. Love you guys. Call you tomorrow. Yes, let's talk tomorrow. Subject change. Great seeing you guys. Cruising home to Downey. Oh yeah, it was great. We had breakfast on Sunday with our friends, the Kennels. Paul and Jennifer Kennel of Auto Kramer fame. And we had a grand old time. It was great. We felt like we were cheating on the Bentons because we went to a place that we normally go to with John and Brenda. But I don't know. It's where he wanted to go. It's where Paul Kennel wanted to go, so we went. In the meantime, since you're here, I wanted to tell you, everybody, about St. Clair Insurance. They say all that separates men and boys is the coverage for their toys. We often tell you about collector cars and collector car coverage. I also want to remind you that not only are the toys covered, so are the businesses. Businesses like Auto Kennel are covered by St. Clair Insurance. So St. Clair Insurance shops the top provider so you get the best coverage, and I am telling you that you should check out St. Clair Insurance and go to coverageforyourtoys.com, coverageforyourtoys.com.
Coverageforyourtoys.com.
It is my great privilege to tell you that the best bubbles in the world are made by Bubbletree, the American bubble company. And it is straight up true. I love that one. Also, I want to tell you, our friends at TLG, they're not just our friends. They could be your friends as well. They have been very, very busy lately, but coming in the new year, they will be starting to take new work on. So if you want to get in there, by all means, start sending an email or send an email in January. I don't know how it works exactly, but think about getting your Porsche some TLC and come on home to TLG. We couldn't be happier. Topless Targa. I hope so. I can't imagine that wait. Love you all. Got to be ready for Gills 997 tomorrow. Oh, you're doing Gills 997. So that worked out great. I hope you're doing a lot of the driver's prep car washes. Good night, Ryans. Good night, Carissable. Sorry I had to reboot. As an actor, I would check myself. Yeah. Exactly. Trust no one. 100% that Porsche girl. I couldn't agree more. As a 26-year-old Army veteran, I would personally check. I mean, we all definitely agree. Jason freaking me out. Hello. You guys are great. Thank you for the support. See you guys next week. OM Ringer's here. Drives Like a Girl is here. So Yellowcar all ready for fun. Not quite. Got the GT3 shifter in there. I was telling everybody earlier, but we still need to get an alignment, which hopefully is happening tomorrow. And four-wheel balance all that, get the ride height set, all that stuff. And then we'll do the plenum, and then we should be good to go. Then we got some videos to shoot. Damon and I got to pitch some stuff to Magnus, too. There's a lot of stuff. My God. Plus, we've gone way too long. All right. Last one. This is Jay Ryan reminding you to please. Actually, I'm doing it on behalf of Nicole. Nicole over here from Late Night Playset is reminding you to please like, subscribe, and comment below. This feeds the internet algorithm and eventually us as well. Be a pal, like, subscribe, and comment below for Nicole. She's too skinny. You got to feed that internet algorithm. Somebody did the other day, and they said, blah, blah, blah. This is for Nicole, supporting Nicole. So there you go.
Thanks.
Love you. We all love you. We love you. We'll see everybody on Thursday. Thursday, we got a great guest. Gabe Abelson's going to be here. He was a head writer on Letterman, head writer on Leno, on The Tonight Show. And he is going to be running our writing room as well here soon. And he's a mentalist. He's mentalist. I don't know if he's an illusionist, but he's a mentalist, and he does some cool stuff. So there'll probably be some magic-y type stuff to watch. And he's just very, very entertaining and very funny. Tony Rackley, I love you and miss you, buddy. We got to see you soon. Love to everyone. We'll be back on Thursday with Gabe and Friday GVBC. Have a great night. See you out there.